Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Radio Toons podcast. How's it going?
Going good, man. Good week.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
And this week, nothing happened. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of stuff that happened.
Well, sure. I actually think
not stuff that interests us, maybe, but a lot of stuff happened.
We have a juicy rumor.
Mm-hmm.
A juicy video game rumor.
Yeah.
And we also have just a me thing. The Overwatch Anniversary is happening.
Right.
As we speak, right now. And it's been really cool. Mostly because they added a new map.
Steven's review of the Overwatch. It's really cool.
Yeah. If you like Overwatch, then you'll love this.
Yeah, it was pretty great, man. I looked up some of the stuff that you could do, like, as a person who hasn't played Overwatch for, like, the last year, I would say, it's great that they opened up all the old events. So now you can go back and play, like, all these big-time events and gain the costumes back if you never got them before.
Yeah, so that was kind of the draw of this one, is that they're, like, we're still adding skins, but if you missed any during the events, you can buy them now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. It is a little bit strange that, like, the summer skins are, like, the ones from last year are still 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you could just wait a couple months and get them at the cheaper price. I don't know. Whatever. But I really wanted to talk about the new map. So, I think it's called, like, Petra or something. I should have written it down.
No, it's called Petra.
I just played it for, like, an hour, and I am, like, in love with that shit. It is so cool. I love that they, like... I mean, they constantly add stuff to Overwatch, but it's cool because this map is specifically made for deathmatch.
Mm-hmm.
It's I believe only the second one that they've done like this. All the other deathmatch maps are just repurposed payload maps.
Right.
They're usually like the center of the maps, like the second checkpoint. They'll just use that little section of it. But this one's really cool. It almost reminds me of like the look of it kind of reminds me of Phantom Pain, if I'm being completely honest. But
well, it's just because it's in the desert.
Yeah, but the actual like the way it, like, you traverse the map and stuff reminds me of Halo, and that I really like that because, like...
But it's not Blood Gulch. It's not like that because that's all open.
No, it's more like... You remember Halo 1? They had those, like, maps where, like, there was cliff sides, but you were still in, like, this kind of, like, long tower, or at least, like, this two-story building where you could, like, use, like, these little jump pads to go up to places, and then in the center of the map, actually, in Overwatch, there's, like, a ground floor kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
In the center with the big health pack, and if you step on that floor too many times, it cracks and it breaks.
I was about to comment on that because, like, it's essentially like a little bridge,
right,
that crosses. And when I saw a couple people playing it, like demoing it out, because a lot of people were streaming it today when it was coming up. A lot of people have taken that's like a death zone, because if you run out to get that thing, more than likely there's people just waiting along the cliffside, like Farahs and stuff, and they're just waiting to, like, bombard that area for whoever comes through there.
It looks super cool, though, and it's, like, I enjoy that they're trying to do new stuff, albeit, like, very tiny. Like,
I think that's the point, though. It's to be confined so that, like, matches happen faster.
Yeah. But what I meant was, like, okay, they have, like, that floor that breaks.
Right.
But they only have it in the center, so you really don't need to interact with it at all.
Not necessarily.
Or, like, there's when they first debuted, like, the jump pad in the game. It was on a map called Oasis, and it was, like, off to the side, and you really don't need to interact with it at all. But, like, they kind of, like, they made it, and they were just like, if you guys like it, maybe we'll throw it in.
Maybe we'll move it.
Yeah, maybe we'll move it closer to, like, where the action is, but it's not necessarily, like, a necessity.
Right.
And it's, like... When you use a jump pad, it makes a big sound, so everybody knows where you're at. It's not like a...
you're also going straight up into the air, so it's not necessarily... It's not subtle.
It's not really an advantage, because, like, you're in a really predictable, like, line...
Trajectory,
Yeah, and, like, Widowmakers can usually just snipe you out of the air, or, like, anyone with hit scan can just...
If they're good.
Yeah.
If they're good. What I will say about it is, it's a deathmatch map, but do you feel like it's opening up different types of play styles for that? Because... Think about, like, that little section where it's so easy to get killed. Think about a play match like Oddball from Halo. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that is built around maps like that. Where it's like there's this one place where you're super, super vulnerable, but that's where the prize is, and you have to rush out to get it and maybe move it to a certain place. I'm not saying they're doing that. This is speculation, obviously.
No, they have. But if you're asking if they have other types of like game modes, yeah, they have like capture the flag and 3v3 and.
No. I understand that they have those standalones, but like for example, Oddball.
Yeah.
There's other things, like, not to rip off too much from Halo, but Halo had like a huge variety of games that included like King of the Hill, just like they do here. But Oddball, Griffball, all these kind of things. Overwatch is.
You've only named 2 so far.
No. Those are specific to this map though, because remember they made a map specifically for Griffball, but they made it before Griffball was actually there. It was just like this open area.
I don't know what the fuck that is, by the way. I know it's from Red versus Blue, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a ball.
Uh-huh.
And you guys are using hammers to bash it into the different...
is it fun?
It was really fun because obviously the hammers like kill everybody. So imagine a bunch of people...
That must have been Halo 3 then, because that's when that came out, right?
Yeah, I think so. But it gets a little blurry because remember, like, the Halo 2 multiplayer became the Halo 3 multiplayer. What? Like, it was the same multiplayer.
It wasn't. You couldn't dual wield in Part 3.
Oh, then it must have been 3 to ODST. One of them shared their multiplayer. They didn't revamp it.
ODST, I believe, is 3.
Okay, well, there you go.
Because it was Halo 3 ODST, right?
Okay, yeah.
Whatever, we're getting off topic.
Well, it was ODST. Anyway, remember when it was called Halo 3 Recon?
No.
It was called Recon at first.
I just remember when they announced ODST, the first thing they did was show off how you get like detective mode. Mm-hmm. And I hated that. I was like, this isn't Halo. This doesn't look like Halo to me.
That is one of my favorite Halos because you're not the Master Chief. And I know that sounds really strange to say, but that game I love.
No, I'm sure it's it seems like kind of like a cult classic because I do know people that really like that game.
It's one of the first ones where you don't feel like you feel helpless in that game at some points.
I was just saying, like, they did the detective mode thing, and it was like, I was like, okay, so they're following like these trends of like, oh, let's do a horde mode, oh, let's do like a, kind of thing, because that was the one that had firefight, right?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of like just killing stuff like that, but whatever.
Anyway, back to this. It's the map is built in a way where I feel like
it's almost like a Quake map or like any kind of free for all map that you've played, like a GoldenEye map or something like.
And because I know Overwatch plans things out in advance, I feel like they're testing this map to see how it works, so that later on they can introduce new play styles, something that's a little more like crazy.
Well, the only thing about that is like, if you were to say like, oh, they could add rockets, like all rockets like in Halo. That's just all Farah. That's not necessarily...
No, I understand, but, like... So, for example, like, we were playing, what was it? The Dark Watch thing has that specific... Black Watch has that specific map and everything. Uh-huh. I feel like they could do something like that, where it's, like, a bunch of Lucios, and you're playing with one ball. And you know how there's, like, a...
They have Lucio ball.
Yeah, they have Lucio ball, but, like... Imagine everybody's Lucio and you could like wall ride all those, because that's what I was seeing a lot of people do is just wall ride the entire wall to different sections. So I mean, it's a very specific type of map.
It's hard because a lot of stuff you're describing is in custom games. Mm-hmm. People do that. They'll do Juggernaut. Mm-hmm. So one guy will have a lot of life and everybody has to team up and kill him.
Right.
Stuff like that, or they'll do all Widowmakers headshot onlys.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but they could take one of those and adjust the rules as they see fit. You know what I mean?
If you guys haven't played custom games in Overwatch, they're actually a really good way to practice certain things. Like, that's where I go to practice Widowmaker. Because you could go to Deathmatch, but you could just get Moira'd in Deathmatch and, get pissed. But or you go to a custom game, and do all headshots, first to 30, and you get like a good 20 minutes of practice, like right there. It's really... it's really helpful, yeah.
You know what that was called in Halo? SWAT.
SWAT?
Yeah. No, it was like headshots is what counted.
But SWAT was, you only had
all assault rifles and headshots are what counted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like you could shoot a person's body and eventually it would work, but headshots were the only way to take somebody out right away. So it was like encouraged to do headshots.
You know what? Actually, in that mode too, a lot of people disable her minigun.
Why?
So you only have to. So you can only snipe.
Only snipe.
You can't just like cheese out.
That seems like a Blood Gulch thing too.
Yeah.
Remember, it was all snipers. Blood Gulch was like the thing to do.
I don't remember too much about like the sniper in Halo. I just remember in Halo 2 one of the first times we played online Halo 2, we got raped by like these fucking like, it was like a group of 4 people. They were on a team, and we couldn't move. Yeah. They were like all like just they were destroying us. It was ridiculous.
Well, I mean that.
And in Halo, online, it was like the mics just they weren't like for your team. They were just for everybody. Like so they were just talking shit to us openly, like over our own television set. It was ridiculous.
That was great. Yeah, I always loved that. But then the whole thing about like bullying online and everything, and then like that's when they started adding the thing about muting in game as opposed to just all over. But you know, I'm excited to go back and play actually some Overwatch because it would be fun to see all these different levels now, all these new costumes. McCree has Sherlock, which I definitely like. I want to play him just to get that costume. It looks really good.
I liked it. Yeah. I just thought it was ridiculous that like I'm going through like a Sherlock phase right now. I just watched the show like twice, and then like my main character is like, "Oh hey, I'm gonna dress up as Sherlock now." I was like, "Cool, I like that. I definitely like that." His gun.
Have you watched the other the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes yet?
Yes.
Both of them?
No, just one of them. His gun says 221B Baker Street though on it, which is That's pretty funny. Cool. Yeah. No, I've only watched the first one. I don't. I mean, I guess I'll watch the second one, but
better hurry because the third one's coming.
Oh yeah, because he's done with the Marvel stuff, right, or something.
Right. So in 2019, he's gonna have a new Sherlock out in theaters during Christmas. I'm pretty sure that'll be like the last one because, I mean, does Robert Downey Jr. really need more money? He's getting paid so much money. And then, look, he's not done with Marvel. He's got one more movie.
You know, Robert Downey Jr. seems like the kind of guy who's a little bit humbled at this point, you know? Because he was like, not to get off topic, but he was in...
That's all we do here.
Yeah. Apparently. He was like in rehab. Like, he was just at a rehab when he did Iron Man, right? Like that was basically like his saving grace was that movie.
Well, I remember he like in the late 90s, maybe 99 or something. He had this really bad drug like rehab whole thing.
You know what? Actually, on what's that show with Damon Wayans? Is it called All My Children?
Yeah. No. The new show with Damon Wayans. I think it's called.
No, the one that was like in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Was it called All My Children?
No, it wasn't called All My Children. It was called something else. But what about it? We'll look it up later.
He makes his son in one episode smokes weed, right?
Uh-huh.
And he says, "You're up here like Robert Downey Jr. all spaced out on drugs." And I'm like, what? I remember hearing that and I was like, what? It's Iron Man. Like, what? Damon Wayans, you're no one. What the fuck? Like,
well, it was a pretty big deal when he, it was in.
I was just trying to say to prove a point is that like at one point he was down on his luck. Like
here's how I remember that too is that I used to watch this show Ally McBeal, which is at it's kind of a cult classic now. But
sure, okay,
dude, they did a parody of it like in every single cartoon I watched. I was like for adults.
Okay,
single female lawyer, but. Robert Downey Jr. started to guest star, like pretty frequently on that show, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is Robert Downey Jr.'s rehab back into acting," because it was like one of his first jobs to come back, right? And so when he was on that show, everybody was like watching him, like with a fine-tooth comb, and be like, "Can he work? Can he work?" And he was really great in that show. He played exactly who Tony Stark is.
Yeah,
he was like this hotshot lawyer.
That's why a lot of people say that he plays Iron Man so well is because he uses like his own experiences of like, he was like, yeah, I was a piece of shit, and like I really turned my life around, and not just in a way where he's like doing it because people want him to do it, but because he actually understands like his mistakes, you know.
Right,
like a real arc, not just like.
Well, I mean, to be honest, in the comic books, Tony Stark always had there was an underlying dependency problem with Tony Stark because of painkillers, because of alcohol, all that stuff. I mean, it's just part of the character because he has taken on so many injuries. At one point, he was addicted to painkillers.
Just like Sherlock.
Addicted
to drugs.
Sherlock uses them in weird ways because sometimes he uses them because. They're an ends to a means. Like in the show Sherlock, the BBC one, he said they helped me clear my mind of clutter. In the Robert Downey Jr. one, he was experimenting on himself with what's that stuff they put into dead bodies? Embalming fluid. He was drinking embalming fluid because he wanted to see how like the effects it would have on a normal body as opposed to like a dead body, right?
Okay.
So I mean, I wouldn't say the same thing, but I mean, Robert Downey Jr. I guess brought all of that to Iron Man because he carries this weight of selling nuclear weapons.
Yeah, I get sure, whatever. But yeah, let's move on to this juicy rumor for a second.
How juicy is it?
To me, it's juicy. To me, it's pretty substantial. Retro Studios,
right?
They've been quiet for a while. Everyone's like, "What's going on here?" You know?
Didn't they announce Metroid 3?
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4, sorry,
is not going to be done by them.
Well,
at this point, people are saying it's going to be Namco Bandai, which is interesting. But Retro Studios has just been quiet, and people know that Nintendo has them working on something. But so the rumor right now, at the moment, is that they're working on a Starfox racing game. So,
how interested are you in that?
Anything Starfox, I'm in. I'm one of the few. Me and you are one of the few people that actually like Starfox Zero.
Yes.
I think Starfox Zero is like the last Jedi of the fucking Wii U. You know, like some people are like upset that it even exists, but the few people that like played it are like, it's not even that bad. It's just not great, you know.
Yeah.
Like why can't you just say like it's good or like it's decent without it being like, oh, I should have never fucking existed. Like it ruined Star Fox. It was supposed to reboot it and it completely ruined it and all. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, the hatred for that game I never understood. It had everything I wanted. Some stuff I didn't, but it had, for the most part, it was this great, nicely put together. Star Fox had like almost like a Star Fox. I don't know, 2.0, something like that. Like, not quite a sequel, but enough of it that I was like, "This, I'm good with playing this." It's one of the last times I remember playing my Wii U.
One of my only gripes with it was that it was a little bit too short. And I understand, like, Star Fox 64 was also short. But some of the bosses were so fucking cool. Like, I honestly felt like I was playing like it could have been like Star Wars, you know? Like, just the sense of scale in some of those bosses was like, this is badass, dude. I feel like I'm taking down something big.
They were big, yeah.
Like, from the inside or something, you know?
Yeah, especially like the part where you're like, this ring base, almost looked like a Halo base.
And you know what I like about those types of games, too, is that, like, it's the kind of game where once you beat it, you go back to the first level, you play it over again, and you completely, like, destroy your record. You know?
Yeah, because you know what's going to happen.
And that's the kind of shit that I like, you know? Like, I mean, we were just playing Crazy Taxi. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I get addicted to. But I feel like, I don't know, like, the criteria has changed, I guess. A lot of people were just like, oh, I don't want to learn how to deal with motion controls, or I don't want to, like...
Didn't have that many motion controls, to be honest.
It just had when you're in, like, the cockpit or something.
It had the first-person mode.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
You didn't have to move the controller, actually.
No, you didn't. But if you used the first-person mode, it was, like, better accuracy. You could actually do some really crazy maneuvers when you went into first-person.
It was cool. I actually, like, I usually hate motion controls, you know that. When I was playing that game, I was actually like, this helps.
Yeah. Like,
I can actually shoot in stupid-ass angles that you're not supposed to because, like, it was almost broken is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Which is cool. And I even liked the little hacking thing, like when you turn into the walker.
Yeah.
It felt like really fluid the way you transformed and stuff. But whatever, I digress. They're supposedly making a Star Fox racing games.
Like I said, I mean...
Hold on. Let me give you the rest of the details.
Okay.
It's adventure-based. And a lot of people hear that and think Diddy Kong Racing. So imagine if you will, modernized Diddy Kong Racing with Star Fox characters, and that's what you're going to get. Because they said they're going to have bosses.
Okay.
So in my head, I'm like, that could very easily be like Star Fox space battles, like boss battles.
All right.
And you wouldn't know the difference, right? Because think about the boss battles in Diddy Kong Racing when you're racing them or something. You know, it's like...
Yeah. Most of the time, you just have to beat them to the finish line.
Yeah.
Though.
But
you're talking about, like,
I feel like they would have you shoot them, you know?
That was the question I had. Like, I wonder if they've given if anybody has any details on whether it's literally them driving in a car, or maybe some sort of, like, F-Zero type of racer.
Well, when I heard people comparing it to Diddy Kong Racing, I'm thinking you get R-Wing, you get Landmaster, you know, you get the Blue Marine, you get everything, like, but like everyone's forced to use that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
because even in Star Fox Zero, you had the little drone or whatever, like the little car that you could use.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
You had like they have plenty of vehicles, I think.
Sure. I wonder though if they have the cast because they only have the 4 main characters and then the 4 bad guys.
What are you talking about?
For the characters in it.
Dude, they have a shitload of Star Fox characters, dude.
You think they're gonna bring back Crystal?
Crystal. You got Cat. You got Bill. Come on.
That's 3.
That's 3.
What, are they gonna have the captain there?
Yeah, you could be Sergeant Pepper. You could. There's a lot of characters.
And then the 4 bad guys like Wolf,
Slippy,
Andre,
Slippy's fucking uncle, his drugged up uncle.
I don't even remember. Was that in Temperatures?
No,
Star Fox Adventures.
No, that was in Star Fox. The fucking Five Nights at Freddy thing that came with Star Fox Zero.
Oh shoot! You know what? I never played it. I never played that thing. It came free with my game, and I was just like, no, I'm not into tower defense.
No, I played it once.
It's a tower defense game. I'm not into those.
Well, it's whatever.
Yeah, but okay, there's one. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe there's enough there. I just I guess it's a little hard to get hype on something that
Rob 64. That scary ass raccoon thing that trains you. Remember?
Which scary ass raccoon that trains you?
When you go into practice mode in 64.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Shoot.
You know what scared me about that guy? He doesn't talk. Everyone talks in Star Fox, and he just stands there and stares at you. It's fucking scary. Okay. Anyway.
Well, I mean, if it is if it has the same premise as Diddy Kong Racing, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I love the whole like hub world thing. I miss it from Mario 64. So I could get behind something like that for sure. And Retro Studios, they have a great track record.
They do. I mean, it's mostly just Metroid Prime and Donkey Kong Country, but still,
Yeah, but even their Retro Studios versions of Donkey Kong, both Returns and Tropical Freeze. I played through both of those, and I thoroughly enjoyed those.
I don't know if they did Tropical Freeze, but I know they did Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Well, I mean, Returns was great.
No,
I liked it. I beat it. It was cool.
They do good work.
They do great work.
And I'm not saying it's all them. Nintendo, when they supervise projects, it's usually pretty good. Yeah, it's just I honestly feel like Star Fox Zero was just like made because they felt like they needed to make it, and then like the Wii U was already on its way out, and they were just like, just push this shit out and get it done already.
This is one of those times where I wish. Okay, so this is gonna lead into the next topic. So I'm gonna say this first, and then we'll get to that afterwards. But this is one of the few games where I wish they would bring Star Fox Zero to the Switch.
Okay.
Because I think not enough people played the Wii U for whatever reason. But if they brought it to Switch, I think they could update a couple of things, and it would just give it this whole new life.
I'm not saying don't, but just make new games for the Switch already, because I'm tired of rebuying the old shit,
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's say they did port Star Fox or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't have both screens because it's not the Wii U, so you would
obviously you'd have to update it, so probably you'd have to finagle a couple of the things.
They added more levels and stuff. By the way, I really loved how that game looked. That game looked awesome.
Yeah, especially, like Fox is one of those characters that you have to really nail, because he has to look cool. Yeah. But he still can't look fluffy. You know what I mean? And only a couple of versions have nailed him. Like, his best version to me is probably Zero, if not just the original 64 one.
Yeah, because, well, to me, actually, if I'm being completely honest, I really love how he looks in Melee.
I don't like the Melee version. He looks so heavy in that version.
He is. He's a fast faller.
Yeah. And Star Fox to me has always been, like, you remember and this is going to take you back, you remember the original Nintendo Power that featured Super Smash Brothers? Yeah. The way he looked there.
You mean in 64?
The 64 artwork. Yeah. Not the polygons, but the 64 artwork. He was super lanky and like a little like...
I didn't really like how he looked there.
I like the way he looks there because he has to look fast.
He looks gross. He is fast. He's super fast, dude.
Of course he is, but that's what he's supposed to look like to me.
He's got metal feet.
I understand, but the metal feet propel him, and he's like super light on top of those, man. No. Like he's a fox. Foxes are fast. They're supposed to look.
He is fast.
Quick.
He is fast, but he's also heavy. Well, look. This is what all I was gonna say about Melee was the look that he has in Melee. Even Falco, I feel like is just enough. Their versions in Brawl and in even Smash 4, I just feel like they're really cluttered. They have like all this over design that almost looks like a Final Fantasy character, you know?
Well, I will agree they're not my favorite looks.
Yeah, even like Wolf in that game in Brawl was like, man, just make him look like a fucking normal guy. Like, I love how Wolf looks in Star Fox Zero. He looks badass.
I think they look really good
like,
in Zero.
Give me that one, you know?
Even in the little anime that they had.
Yeah, so Zero is kind of like a good middle ground between those two. It's not like too over designed like in Smash Brothers, and it's not necessarily like plain like Melee. It's just like right in between where he has he uses all of the shit like on his suit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then like the other kind of gripe I had with it is Melee's Fox colors were all muted. Like they were a little not as bright, and the ones on 64 were really bright.
That's not true.
Well, we'll agree to disagree because I didn't feel like the Brawl ones. And the one after that, those brought the color back up, I feel like.
Yeah, right, dude. Brawl looked like shit to me. Brawl was like very washed out to me. I felt like the colors were maybe not so much Smash 4, you know, but I don't know.
Zero definitely brought their color back.
Yes.
Because he almost looks orange in that one. Like his fur looks like a fox.
I look at the cover of Star Fox Zero and all the colors on it, and I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like the way I've always liked that about the Star Fox team, how like
they're colorful.
Like Falco, Slippy, Peppy, and Fox all like complement each other because they're so colorful. Oh, you know what? The 3DS game that had cool designs too.
Yeah. Because
they were really simplistic, but they still had like
the only gripe I have that one is Fox's head looks too big? Oblong.
Oh, okay.
Like, he has, like, a big forehead in that one. It's one of my... Before we got Star Fox on the 3DS, like, original 64 one, I used to play the Armada one a lot, because it had, like, all these different endings and stuff. One of which ends with them turning their R-Wings into racers and competing in the F-Zero circuit. So that's kind of neat.
Let me complain some more for a second, all right?
Okay.
I forget who it was. Somebody was talking shit on Star Fox Zero, because everyone does.
Yeah.
And then, like, somebody in the comments put, like, they're like, yeah, you know what? Armada actually wasn't that bad now that I think about it. And I was like, fuck you.
Armada.
Go back and play that shit. That is not a good game. That is not a good game. You know why? Because the second fucking level, you're out of your R-Wing, and you're, like, running around doing these stupid objectives. It is not a good game. It is not a good game. I just played that game recently, too.
I know, I saw you play that. And I was like, at one point... You were on the wing of an R-Wing shooting a cannon. I was like...
That game fucking sucks, dude. That is a terrible game. If I got that game as a child, I would cry. Because it was not good. That was... You know what, too? That was the game that was supposed to be Star Fox's triumphant return to the R-Wing in space battles. And it wasn't. It was just trash.
Was that a translation from the... Because I remember there was a Star Fox arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was the same. I don't know.
I don't think there was.
There was no Star Fox arcade game?
There might have been, but maybe you're talking about like Star Fox Assault, which is essentially Star Fox 2, the DS one?
Maybe.
Remember that one?
What I was thinking, yeah. I liked it. That's the one that had all the alternate endings and stuff.
Yeah, Star Fox...
That one was cool, but it was just too, like...
I'm talking about Armada on the GameCube.
No, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I know which one. No, the Assault is the one where you can like map out your course and then you get into space battles.
Right, yeah.
The only thing I hated about that is just when you got into a space battle, it was like an RPG where it was the same terrain and you just did your thing and then you pop back out. And I was like, this is a little too RPG for me.
You know what, too? I would have played that game, but it was touchscreen controls.
Just the Armada part where you like plot out your course. Just that. After that, you could just play regular.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. You just plot out your course, and once you get to that part you're at, you play in a little, like, Star Fox... You play in an all-range mode kind of thing.
It's such a shame because, like,
it's not terribly inventive. That's the problem.
Well, I was gonna say like I remember Metroid Prime Hunters. Mm-hmm. That's the only Metroid game I've like never beat because the controls suck.
And I remember beating that game, but I don't remember what happened.
They never let you. You did not beat that game. You did not beat that game.
I remember beating that game.
You did not beat that game, Ernie.
All right, well, you have a better memory than I do.
So there's no way you beat that game. Well, I'm telling you, the controls were really bad. And I remember trying so hard to like that game because I love Metroid Prime. And I hated it. I could not play it. And I was going to say, it's such a shame because there's not really any way to port that game now. Like, what are they going to do? Like, first of all, there's not really any demand for it other than me.
Why couldn't you? I mean, you could port it. If you can port a Metroid onto a 3DS, like a Prime, I'm sure you could put Prime on a 3DS.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the DS one uses the control screen, touch screen. Controls.
Yeah, but just take that out. Rework the controls so they don't have to use the touchscreen. I'm sure you could do it.
I guess. It's the same problem I'm saying with the Wii U. Is like since you don't have two screens, good luck. You know,
you could change it. Like, okay, so this was going to lead to the next one. I've been playing Hyrule Warriors, which is a game that I thoroughly enjoyed on the Wii U. But the problem with that is that two things. It's like when I turned on the Wii U, I only had 3 hours with the touchpad controller, and I loved using that thing. And after 3 hours, it turned red, so I either had to hook it up, or stop playing, right? My Switch doesn't really have that problem. And now I can just take it wherever, turn it on, and go. I don't have to wait for like a loading screen and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's just a turn on and let's play for like 30 minutes and then put it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they've done so much to this game that it's so much, like, it's worth its $60 price tag now. Because a couple things, like, before when you played through the game, you had 4 companions, and then it was you in some levels, right?
Okay.
And you're on this huge...
Who is you?
You're either Link, Sheik, Link, Sheik... I forget the lady who's part of the Sheikah clan. I forget her name.
Impa?
Impa, there you go. Impa. You could be a Goron. You could be Midna. There's like so many characters. There's like I think 20 characters from the Zelda franchise.
Oh, so you just pick a character and you have 4 companions.
Yeah, well, usually like the first few levels are like you and one person, you and 2 people, and then it kind of grows from there. Eventually, it just unlocks so you can fight whoever. But what's cool is that in the previous games it was just you, and then you kind of saw them around there. In this game, you can switch between all 4 of them. So, like, say you're in one part of the map, and they say, "Oh no, they're attacking this part." You can actually switch to somebody who's near there, and go and attack, and then switch back to your player.
That's
so it's like,
better.
Yeah, so you can actually be all over the map.
I do.
And you can move you can do this. Watch, because like you can have like a main character, and he's powered up. You move them somewhere where you know they're going to attack next, and then switch off to another character and go try to do something like find a Skulltula, do some side mission objectives, anything while that guy's holding the fort down. So that's one thing, right? But in situations where it's just you, like one where Link gets sent off on his away mission, because there's side missions to every like main storyline. They've added something called the owl statues.
Okay.
And what you could do is, once you get to a certain point, you activate the owl statue. So, like in Majora's Mask,
yeah,
the wings open, and like, okay, now this is a teleportation area. So, like, you can go to one side of the map, and then you'll have these little checkpoints that you can instantly travel to with your ocarina. Okay. So you play the thing, you move to the next area, and it's really great for hopping around the map. So you don't have to waste a lot of time just running. You know. That already. I was like, oh my gosh, this game is so much more fluid to play.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then right from the beginning, you've all unlocked everybody except for the last 3 people. But it's just like beat the story, and then you can open that up, because that's kind of like a surprise. I won't ruin it for anybody here, but you have to like open that section up.
That's cool.
Although all the bad guys, from there you can start with them too, if you so choose. But it's like. They've retooled it so much that like the Wii U version used to chug a little when it came to big boss battles.
Okay.
So it'll be like when you do a boss battle, it's like your soldiers, their soldiers, and then some big dude in the middle. So it's like the huge spider from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
He'll show up, and he'll just start, he'll do this thing where he'll, like, sweep across the floor, and then soldiers and bad guys will fly everywhere. And right then, that's when the Wii U used to chug a little.
Oh, okay.
Switch doesn't have a problem with that at all. It runs pretty smoothly. The only time I've seen it a little, like, slow down a little bit is during the introductory loading screen.
Uh-huh.
Like, when your map is being, like, laid out and everything. That's when I've seen that. Like, I would...
Can you still use Amiibo?
Yeah, you can still use Amiibo. That's still integrated, and it's, like, it's pretty awesome to just keep getting crap from that. They have a limit on how many you can do. But that alone has brought the game up for me, because I remember playing it and having a lot of fun, because you can go back and play again to collect materials.
$60 though?
$60, yeah.
Should have been $40, dude. What are you doing? You know, like, that's a $40 game.
Well, it does have all the DLC from the Wii U. Like, I just got to the first piece of DLC, and it introduced this girl called Linkle. Mm-hmm. And it's a girl, like, you remember BB Hood from Marvel vs. Capcom?
I know who Linkle is, yeah.
Yeah, so
she's just a girl Link, right? Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. So she has, like, 2 guns.
Okay, look. So this game isn't my forte. I'm not sure. I don't love these.
I would give it a chance, Steve. I'm serious.
Okay, hold on, let me finish. Okay. I don't love these games. I'm not a Dynasty Warriors guy. But all the characters look amazingly cute. All the girls look super cute.
Yeah.
Even like Link is like the prettiest man you will ever see. Like the designs they're Team Ninja, so they just make pretty people. That's just what they do.
Who knew that just adding a scarf to Link would make him look so cool?
I like his design actually. I like that they kind of gave him a look that makes it. What am I trying to say? It's not like iconic, but it's like
it separates.
Once you see that scarf, you're like, oh, this is Hyrule Warriors. This isn't like a
Yeah.
Like, so I like that. It's funny. I thought it was really funny that when this game first got announced and was about to come out on Wii U, people were just so fucking excited for it.
Dude, like, it's a good game, man.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I know so many people that bought this game. Like,
who besides me? Who else bought it?
You want me to just name?
No. But like, say, like, how many of your friends bought this game? Like, I can't. We only know like maybe 2-3 other people that have them, and they all bought it.
Everyone I know that has a Wii U bought it.
Oh, the Wii U. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Not this one. No.
No, I was gonna say Switch. I was like, I don't know these.
No, when this game was first announced on Wii U. Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting because I don't really hear people talk about it now, but whatever.
Here's what I will say: the story is pretty ho hum, but I will say I like one thing that I liked like from Breath of the Wild was that this Link, quote unquote, because it's always like so many different variations of him, starts the same way as the Breath of the Wild Link. He was part of the Hyrulean army, and he's in training when this thing starts.
Hylian.
Hylian. What did I say?
Hyrulean.
Hylian. He's in Hylian training, and then like Zelda spots him.
I know. I saw like, the opening cutscene. She's all yoo-hoo, and he's all.
But Zelda's in her like fucking armor.
Yeah, Zelda looks badass.
Zelda, and you can play in the first level. You can play as her, and she has this. She's badass because she's a general in the game, right? So she has her like rapier that she fights with. But like every character has.
It's just a sword, isn't it? Or is it like
no, it's a rapier.
Okay.
It's a rapier, and then so you have a combo only with like 2 or 3 buttons. So the second button is like your heavy attack, and her heavy attack just by itself, if you press it, just summons more soldiers.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
she's like she can go to one place and just summon more soldiers to help out. As opposed to Link, who does like his spin attack when you hit that button.
Yeah, I will say that her design's super cool in that game.
I love it because she's actually in the fight.
Yeah,
it's very and by the way, Toon
Link,
and Toon Zelda are in it. She plays as she's the ghost one from Phantom Hourglass.
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks. There you go. She's and then she jumps into a stone soldier, and that's how she fights.
Okay, yeah.
And then like her like heavy attack and everything, she comes out and casts a spell and goes back into it. There's so much in this game that's why I'm saying it warrants the $60 price tag.
Like I will say if you're a quote unquote like Zelda fanatic, or whatever.
You really think I'm a fanatic?
No, if you are. I wouldn't say you are because you haven't finished Majora's Mask.
Oh, jeez. That game is not good.
Majora's Mask?
I don't like it. Okay, listen. I don't like it. I appreciate people who like it. I don't like it. That's it.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Anyway, dude, that game is... I could talk for hours about that fucking game.
We already did Majora's Mask, dude. I think it was like episode 2 of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. 17, I believe.
Is it really 17?
I think so. Anyway. Fuck, what was I saying?
You were saying about...
If you're a Zelda fanatic...
Yeah.
This shit is fan service. This is a Zelda... What?
It's not fan service. It's another version of Zelda.
What the fuck do you think this is?
It's another version of Zelda. It's Zelda Dynasty Warriors, but they do it in a way that's really, really fun.
Okay, you're taking fan service as like the worst term ever. You're making it sound like I just said the N-word, dude.
No, but like what I consider fan service is like Twilight Princess.
How is that fan service?
Because that's the Zelda that people were asking for.
Ernie,
like a super high...
No. This is a definition of fan service. It has every link.
Every link?
For every game, yeah.
It has 2 links.
It has Majora's Mask link.
It has 3 links.
It has Toon link.
3 links.
Yeah, it has a shitload of links.
Okay, but it's...
Do you know what fan service means?
All right, Steve. I'm wrong.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but that's just like DLC that they've added. It's not like they have their own storyline.
Why are you getting so mad?
Because you're saying it's fan service. It's not fan service. It has its own story.
Why is that okay, I don't understand why you're getting upset. Fan service doesn't even... It's not even a bad thing. I'm just saying
you're saying it like it's a bad thing. That's why.
Because I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying if you like Zelda... and you like references to other Zeldas, this is the fucking game for you. It's got all your fucking Zelda crap in it. How is it not that? That's exactly what it is. If you have Triforce shit all over your house, then go buy this game.
If you go to Hot Topic and buy all the Zelda stuff, if you go to Box Lunch...
If you have a Zelda sweatband, then put it on as you play this game... and you'll be fucking happy. You know who's in it? Marin's in it from Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's fan service. It's bringing in, like, everything. Like, things that you wouldn't even know of if you're just a casual Zelda fan. This is for the hardcore, like, Zelda... Like, even the Golden Skulltulas. Like, they were in 2 games, right? That's it. You know?
Yeah. They were in Majora's Mask, and they were in there.
I would even say fucking Dragon Ball Xenoverse is fan service. Because it's just bringing in everything that people want to see. It's not necessarily...
people. Yeah. That's the terminology that makes it like it's a negative. I mean, I love the game just because there's a lot of strategy in it. There's a lot of teamwork involved in it. And now, like, this version of the game, the single player doesn't feel so awful. Okay. In the other ones, it's like if I was playing multiplayer, like I was playing multiplayer with our nephew, and that was a lot of fun. Because I was like, I could cover so much of the map just by because I was playing on the pad, and then he was playing on the screen.
Do you remember on Wii U when you did that? It looked like crap.
Yeah, because it was doing double duty. It was doing like 2 versions of it. But like in this one, I don't feel like I'm all by myself because I can switch off to so many people. But that was so much fun playing with him. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine what it would feel like if 4 people had 4 switches and we were all taking on a map, because it ramps up the difficulty.
It's like so much money, dude. It's like $1,000.
It's $1,000.
It's like $60 for 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $240 right there.
You can play split screen on one.
Everyone's got to have a Switch. Oh, really?
You can play split screen on one.
So if I have my Switch, I can play with you?
No, you play it on the one Switch, so you could like plug it into the TV and it split screens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
So it doesn't look awful either. So that's great.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty much all we have for this week. Kind of a short episode, but that's okay. Stay tuned for more Dreamcast this week, guys. We're really excited about that. I am, at least. I'm not being sarcastic. I am very happy. I'm very happy we have everything set up to record. We want to do N64 games too. So look out.
If you have a suggestion for the N64 stuff,
yeah,
because there's a lot to choose from in N64. like so much stuff to go through that if you have a suggestion for that, let us know. Maybe we'll do an N64 week.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to give God of War a little break. Yeah,
we do. Or I should say I do, because Ernie's the only one playing that now. So, you know, I don't like just sitting there. But yeah, anyway, that does it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.